Hello and welcome to Mostly Off Topic Plays the One Ring Second Edition. Look at that. I'm joined by the second campaign's crew and also somebody from the first campaign. Ooh, guest spot.
Hello, it's this one.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not playing Torg. I'm not
No.
playing Torg, son of Toric.
Because it'd be about 5 now. No, hold on. I don't know. I can't. Anyway, no. That's a past, isn't it? Time's moved. I don't know.
Yeah, depends which book you're looking at.
Yeah. Anyway, right. Okay. So let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Paul, and I don't know. Gabe, do you normally go first? I think you normally go first.
I think so. I'm Gabe. I play Gert Gandry, man of Bree. Full of him. No, I'm not full of himself. Full of a lot of stories. And friend of his pony Bert. And yeah. Pass it on.
Alessandro, go.
Nick.
Yeah, the whole order has been kind of like messed up on my screen. Right, Nick. Nick is normally next, I reckon.
Right. Hi, I'm Nick. I play a dwarf by the name of Barnak. He is a stonemason, a stonecutter from the halls of Erebor in the Lonely Mountain, but he's on a quest to deliver a boulder across Middle Earth. So that's me.
Excellent. Sean.
Hello, I'm Sean. I play a Ranger of the North called Esteldor. Met up with this group of people out on the road. If you've seen the first episode.
Excellent. Matt.
Hello, hi, I'm Matt. I play Arthaniel, who is the other Ranger of the North from the west of Middle Earth. It will all become
Northwest.
clearer in due course, of course. Yes, and that's it.
Excellent. Alessandro.
Oh, yeah. I play Gudrun, daughter of Finn, a gentle girl from Dale that escaped from her golden cage to escape the pressure of a dynastic plan, ambition of his father, and came to Bree to bring a message for the famous Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins. A suggestion from, the well-known wizard of these lands, Gandalf the Grey.
A message that remains undelivered so far.
Yes. And it seems that she stumbled upon, a few adventure on the road.
That's right. And Joe.
Hey, so I'm Joe. I am joining the gang temporarily to just possibly have some fun in the Shire, but we'll see. So I'm going to play Tolman Bunce, who is a young hobbit who is he's got itchy feet, let's say, which I think in the Shire is an insult, but he's wandered east, possibly further than he should have. He's a messenger. He has, his mother always tells him he has fairy blood. He is very proud to be part of the Shire Messenger Service. And he has never been so far east.
Excellent. So previously, you all fought a troll, recovered a map, forged a map, rescued a teenager, planned to go and see a lynx, gave the forged map to a shadowy dwarf, may or may not have led to some dire consequences in Bree, unknown to you all. and have then promised the teenager that you're going to go and see a lynx near the Midgewater Marshes where all the treasure is buried. But anyway, moving along. Arthaniel trailed the shadowy dwarf whilst the rest of you moved east of Bree along the road, dodged around a forsaken inn, decided its reputation for being a nefarious hive was not to your tastes. Most of you are camped off at the moment, just on the edge of the Midgewater Marshes, and Arthaniel is a few days to the west and south. And you settle down for a night's rest in your places, talking and preparing yourselves, gathering wood, fending off Thomas's slightly hopeless suggestions of how he's going to name his spear in Gudrun's honour. But never mind. Time for a little bit of a history lesson as you are in the shade of Weathertop, the tallest mountain hill of the Weather Hills. A great host came out of Angmar in 1409, and crossing the river, entered Cardolan and surrounded Weathertop. The Dunedain were defeated, and Arveleg was slain. The tower of Amon Sul was burned and razed, but the Palantir was saved and carried back in retreat to Fornost. Rauder was occupied by evil men subject to Angmar, and the Dunedain that remained there were slain or fled west. Cardolan was ravaged. Arefor, son of Arveleg, was not yet full grown, but he was valiant, and with the aid of Círdan he repelled the enemy from Fornost and the North Downs. A remnant of the faithful among the Dunedain of Cardolan also held out in Tern Gorthad, the Barrow Downs, or took refuge in the forest behind. And let us turn our minds to a remnant of the faithful of the Dunedain on the edge of the Barrow Downs as he sees Graw head off into the South Downs, clutching the fake map in one hand. An evil chuckle as he leaves the Greenway and heads off into the wilds of the South Downs. Arthaniel, you're separated from your party. You know that they are possibly in need of your aid and succour, and you are certain that Graw has taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker. What is it that you do?
I've done that again with unmute. Sorry. Like you say, I'm convinced that he's fallen for the trap. Even if he hasn't, then he's still far away, so we will get a head start on him. So I think I better just head back. Is it night time now?
It's late afternoon, starting to become evening time.
Okay, so there's nothing for me to gain by following him any further. If I had an energy bar, I'll probably just crunch it and then just head back. But I'll just probably, even without it, just walk quickly, using my skills as a ranger to work through the tiredness and just to make sure that I join my comrades as soon as possible.
Yeah, okay, so you can make a forced march, which means that you'll travel twice as fast as they otherwise, but it means you'll accumulate more fatigue at the end of this journey.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that's a good time now to get really tired.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just handle this as a journey, but you're going to force march to kind of catch up with the rest of the group. So could you make me a travel roll, please?
Yeah.
You're going to be covering all of the rolls.
Yes. All of the rolls. Yeah. Oh, wow. I just missed one. I've got 12, and I need 13.
Okay. So you set off into the darkness of the night. You kind of make your way up the greenway through the moon, which to your eyes is more red than normal, portentous, telling of death this night. Shrugging your shoulders, you move on. What are you doing when you kind of get to Bree? Are you going to skirt around Bree? Are you going to go through Bree?
Yes, I will. If there's a way through the ranger exits that you told me about, if
Yeah.
there's a way of utilizing them, but if not, I will just go around it.
Yeah, okay, your best bet is probably to go around that. And you walk on through and dawn comes, the moisture gathered around on the flagstones of the road as you move past the great hedge that surrounds Bree, and then off and along. The mist rises off the top of Bree Hill. So let's see, you are going to have some form of travel encounter. Okay, could you make me an explore check, please?
An explore check. Okay, so this is also 2, but this is my favorite skill. So let's see if that's worth anything on these 4. I've got a Tengwa and a Gandalf.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
there you go. Okay, right, so as you are kind of coming through past Bree into the early dawn of the morning, you come across a small party of huntsmen, Bree folk, you think, but you manage to kind of just skirt around and avoid them. As they're talking, there's lots of conversation about rangers coming in, causing confusion, scuttling off into the darkness of the wilds. We'll have to redouble our efforts. If we get one of those, we'll scrag them, hang them from the nearest tree. But you manage to move around the group and then pick it up as you kind of keep going forward. They start to get deep into their day beer, and you leave them well behind. Another travel roll, please.
Okay. Travel roll. These are okay. This is better. This is there's a Tengwa and 9, 15. So I pass. Great success.
Great success. Okay, cool.
If there's any possibility of speeding up or moving even faster, then
Yeah.
I would probably utilize that.
You get into a that's right. You get into a steady jog, a steady hustle, and the miles, you start to eat the miles up. Your pack is starting to weigh down on you, and various bits are jingling around. But you've been in this situation before. You pack them down, you get your head going, and the miles start to get eaten up. Everybody else, you awaken close to the Midgewort Marshes. You can see the fog thick that hangs over them. And as you start to look around, you can see Weathertop off in the distance, rising slightly out of the fog. The craggy ruins at the top. Barnak, Gudrun, you came this way on your way down from Dale and from Erebor. Maybe Gert has been out as far as Weathertop before, and certainly I would imagine Esteldor has been there or thereabouts. But your journey is to hang off into the marshes. You know that the King's Chair and the Barrow is a little bit further in the top northeast corner of the marshes, and you've come along the base of them on the road, and now your journey will start to move you a little bit further in there. Could I have rolls for the rest of the journey, please?
Okay, I think I was doing the travel roll for location. Yeah. Awful. Terrible. It's a failure.
Okay, failure. Okay.
I think I was the greatest lookout in the history of the area, where I needed Gudrun to save me.
Gudrun will sing about it.
Yeah.
Gert was not paying attention and almost lost the map. All right. Let's see how poorly this lookout roll goes.
So you don't need to make one. I just need to know what rolls you're on at the moment.
Oh, well, since we have Arthaniel is not here, so I guess I was taking the lookout roll. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I keep the roll that I had?
You can for me.
No, it's double once.
Go on, Arthaniel.
Yes, sorry to interrupt this, but
Could you
going
move the
back to my
boom closer
roll.
to your mouth? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, just
Thank you.
keep drinking and keep talking. You can't do it at the same time, apparently. Anyway, just about the encounter, I had a quick look in the rule book, and I had a Gandalf. Was it an encounter? So this is a
Yes.
technical question. So is it a journey event that
Yes.
happens?
Yes.
So if you allow, because I had a Gandalf, apparently it was a joyful sight. It was really good to see these Bree bastards sort of, not getting a ranger. And it says if the roll succeeds, everyone in the company regains 1 hope.
Okay.
Now,
you
I would like to
you
obviously-
regain 1 hope.
Sorry guys, I did try, but isn't it like a range thing?
Like
if I'm
there's a
less than
range.
day,
Yeah, there's a
they all
hope range.
Yeah. I mean.
like aura effects, like in World of Warcraft, you have these aura effects, and then
Yeah. So.
With the inverse of the square root of distance.
That's right. So everybody else is going to get shadow points as they see Arthaniel come whistling along, and they kind of like stab him between the eyes because they're like mid deep in marsh, and he's like they're walking on the water. Okay, so Gudrun, what role would you take on? Sorry, Gudrun, what role would you take on in the journey?
Gudrun, I think Hunter.
Mm-hmm. Esteldor?
Have we
lost you?
I think it's fixed.
Nope.
We lost him. Oh, yes, he's
okay.
back. Oh, almost back.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Esteldor,
So I missed what I missed what happened. I don't miss anything.
No, I don't think so. I'm just asking you what role you take on in the journey.
Oh, okay.
We have a lookout. We have a hunter. We've got a guide. So we're looking for a scout.
He's a ranger. It should be a good scout, I think. Or he's supposed to be.
Is he a ranger of the northwest or the northeast, though?
Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, okay. Let him drop and then he can come back. I think this is the first dropout we've had in 4 sessions as well.
No.
Maybe in the first session we had some.
Yeah,
Fair.
some tech difficulties.
I seem to remember it happening all the time to us.
Yeah, it was a nightmare at times. I think we had to abandon a couple of sessions, didn't we?
Yeah. I don't know if
I
it was a
remember
pandemic thing.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yes, I don't think the virus, by the way, it spill over in digital form.
Hello? Can you?
Yes, we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you,
can hear
Sean.
I don't know what's going on. It keeps cutting off. But yeah, rolls.
Your video's not on, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a good picture of Esteldor in.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
That's how the people of Bree think of rangers.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Can I? I think I was hunting last time.
Yeah, there's a scout opening. We're interviewing for a scout at the moment.
Okay. Is that a hunting role?
Scout
What,
is the
like-
explore role.
I explore. I can do explore. I'm not. It's just I'm just favoured in hunting, and I've got more dots in hunting. But I can do explore. If you want me to?
Yeah. Gudrun's holding a brace of conies. She's already got hunting sorted. Okay, so we don't need to make any rolls as yet.
Okay.
So you start to move off into Midgewater Marsh. Thick, grey, cold fog obscures the light of the spring sun. Very quickly, moisture all over you. Anything metal, it just condenses on that. You see the slickness on Nonna and Bert's backs. You can't ride here, and you have to just be careful as you move your mounts through. Barnak and Esteldor finding ways between the standing pools of water, and your feet just feel cold as you have to wade through the moss, the lichen, the thick grasses. Every so often you find a firmer patch, and then you have to back up on yourselves as you come to a pool. You're deep within the fens. As you breathe, it catches a little in your throat. You don't know exactly how long you've been moving, and you're trying to keep steady ground on your right hand side on a marsh on your left, knowing you're trying to get up to the top corner, but it's quite hard at times having to come backwards and zigzagging and around everywhere. And the light starts to fade a little bit, bringing about evening time. You've stopped and you've had food. Thomas is quiet and a little sullen. He's picking stuff off himself. And you hear sounds from behind. A figure looms out of the mist. Arthaniel has caught you up. They were very easy to follow as you kind of went into the marsh. 2 mounts, a dwarf, Thomas, who's been kicking and started the journey by jumping in every puddle he can. That lasted about 4 minutes before he complained about being cold. But you regain the company.
Gudrun ran to meet him, and she hugged him because she is very happy, glad to see him again. And then she looked at him and said, "Oh, well, very well met, Arthaniel. I was so anxious about seeing you. Since last night, I see a red moon. I thought it was a bad omen, you know. But you are here, so all went good, right? Tell me, please, tell me."
Yes, Gudrun, thank you for your concern. It's very nice of you. I feel like really awkward because I don't really do physical contacts. But I'm trying to be nice. I'm working through it. We're in a group now, so I'm saying yes, okay. It's obviously nice to see you and everybody else, and that you are well. I'm glad I was able to cut up with you. The red moon is indeed a bad omen, but we're all together now, so we can face it, whatever comes our way. How is everybody?
We are well, but they eat the bite.
It bit. the dwarf bit, if I can say it that way. I followed him out, and he's walking around somewhere in the South Downs. Hopefully, maybe he will meet up a troll or 5 on his way back. Let's hope that way.
Very well. All went as planned, I think. And and she take your hands, and you feel cold and a bit of sweat in her hand. And please let me ask you a last question. All went well also in the father house.
Yes, as well as it could have gone. Let me put it this way: it could have gone much worse. But as you know, we had to leave quickly, and on the way back, I was thinking of passing through Bree, but these Bree men are not taking any liking to rangers anymore. I want to say so. I couldn't even check up, so I'm sorry I don't have any new news to that. We will have to deal with it when and if we get back to Bree. Sorry, can't give you any more on this. But I can see that you're cold. Let's go and sit by the fire, which I'm assuming is there. So let's all sit and warm up because it's a bit chilly.
Oh, well. I was chill more inside than outside. Don't worry. And then she turned back.
Almost into Thomas, who's kind of like there.
Yeah.
Thomas kind of like comes over, he tries to give you a warrior's handshake. Kind of grips you by the wrist, grabs you there, and goes, "It's good that you're back, Arthaniel." And he kind of like takes you a little bit to one side and he says, "Do you have a shield?" I think I should have a shield, because I've been trying to think of names for the spear, but they're not brilliant. And if I had a shield, I could call it Gudrun's Defense or Gudrun's Savior, and that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I tell you, in
Esteldor doesn't have a shield. Do you have a shield?
No, I'm not into shields.
Oh.
But if you like it, we can help you make one.
That'd be amazing. 'Cause I could have a lynx. I could have a lynx on it as like my symbol.
Yeah, but I think we would have to see it first. I think it would be.
Oh, I've got a picture one, haven't I? I've got the necklace. He pulls out the necklace.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, well, if you have a picture of Lynx, then yeah, this is another step closer to your shield.
Excellent. I could have like Gudrun's Defense. No. Gudrun's Savior, and I could call my spear Gudrun's Enemy Bane.
Yeah. I think you're onto something there.
Excellent.
This is very good. So
You're more positive about this than Esteldor was, let me tell you.
I'll take it as a compliment, and when they are quieter times in our journey, both of us, me and Esteldor, can give you a hand in crafting this shield, because I feel it's important for you that Gudrun is protected, not only by anything.
Well, yeah, because I'm going to be a protector, aren't I?
Well,
She's
yes.
done so much for me.
And then, if I may add, also you'll be a man soon, so I think that's a good
Well,
plan for you.
Yeah. It's good that you say it. It's good that you can see that in me. Thanks, Arthaniel. Oh, do I have to go and get more wood? Oh, come on! And he chomps off, kind of like looking over his shoulder at Esteldor as like, feed the fire.
Oh, Matt, remember the mic.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I keep.
So you're
I-
kind of like,
Barnak.
okay, go, Nick.
All right, now I was just gonna add that I probably nudge my own shield slightly under my pack, so it's a little bit hidden.
Yeah, fair. Also, so everybody's kind of like just gathering around camp, getting food together. It's really hard to light the fire and to keep it lit with the amount of moisture that's there. Fortunately, you brought some kindling and some kind of like dried wood with you. Otherwise, there would have been nothing that you were able to do. And the night
I
moves.
also-
Go on.
Sorry, just to share something positive from Bree. Had some fruit and some nice tomatoes, so something like fresh to lift the spirits up a little bit. While I was waiting so long for this meeting to happen to play, so I'll just hand out some nice fruit and tomatoes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, very nice. Very nice of you bringing these sweeties for us.
Can we have a really uncomfortable tomato eating scene like in Return of the King?
Do you
That
know
is
what?
the scene when we met your character eating tomato on a large table.
No, hobbits only watch people eat tomatoes in a disgusting fashion.
The evening moves into the night and the tomato eating gets out of hand, blows are thrown. But eventually it all calms down and the dull dawn emerges. And you continue trudging through what you think is probably north, keeping the firmer ground on your right and the majority of the marsh on your left. And sooner rather than later, Barnak, having committed to memory the map, not wishing to pull it out in front of Thomas, indicates that it's time to head deeper into the marsh. And you start to trudge further. And if you thought it was wet and cold and dank on the periphery, it's awful. In your nose the flies go, through your eyes, all on your skin. You just can't take it. Oh, everywhere, wafting them around. The horses swishing the tails. Your feet cold and wet, mud clicking up into your ankles. Everywhere you touch, frustration and the noise. The Nika, Brika, just on the edge, and the lack of anything in the greyness. You have to keep yourselves close so that you don't lose yourselves off. Look out. Gert, can you make me an awareness roll, please?
Arthaniel, when did you get here? I failed. I got an 11. I needed a 17. So
Okay. So, as you're kind of like charged with keeping a lookout for everything, you kind of manage to get yourself almost wholly surrounded by deep fen water. You're not even sure how you got here. You've got Bert in one hand. The rest of the group, you just see Esteldor's back, trudging forward, kind of deep in conversation with Thomas. Every so often, just kind of swiping flies around from himself. There's no way you're getting across this. And then you start to feel yourself sinking a little bit. You're not quite sure that Bert used to be quite as tall as he currently is. As you start to move down, and you feel the cold starting to move up your legs as the bod starts to take you. And then you look to your left. And can we describe Tolman, please? Who's also a little stuck in a bog. This little face looks over at you.
Tolman is he's a small, mousy brown-haired, curly-haired hobbit. He seems young. He would look like a child to your eyes. He's currently trying to use a spear to push himself out of the bog. I'm assuming he notices the party.
You certainly notice this huge Breeman and his pony kind of like stand next to you. Just take a little look, realise that the rest of his people are going that way, have a look around, takes a pace, and then shrinks down next to you.
Upon seeing you, Tolman freezes, starts manoeuvring around in the bog. He's stuck up to his waist, pulls his spear free, starts pointing it towards you, and shouts, "I'm Tolman Bunce, captain of the 1st Militia of the Shire. If you take one step closer to me, I've got you surrounded. We've got Hobbit archers all around here, and they'll take you down on my signal. Name yourself. Who are you? And name your intent. Whatever it is."
Gert Gandry. I'm man of Bree and stalwart friend of the Shire. And could you get the Hobbit archers to help us get out of this bog?
I could if they were there, but truth be told, there's not actually any Hobbit archers around here. I'm on my own. I'm a little bit lost. I was in Bree. Do you know Bree? I was sleeping in a prancing pony.
Oh.
You're from Bree?
Yes, I spend a lot of time in the pony. I don't recognize you.
Oh. No. I was only visiting. Why would you come here to this bog if you live in Bree and you've got the prancing pony? Why would you come and stand in a bog? That makes no sense.
Gert has zero answer for that.
Well, as you're sinking ever slowly down.
You are absolutely correct. In this moment, I cannot provide a good answer. Yeah, help me yell for my friends. They can assist us in getting out of here.
Okay,
Who do I yell for first?
Who are your friends? Are they from Bree?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of rangers of the north. And so, who's taller, Esteldor or Arthaniel?
Who's taller?
Yeah.
I
Who do I think can pull me out of this more? Because I'm not going to call for Gudrun, and I'm not going to call for Barnak because he's too short.
I think Arthaniel's probably taller, but we need to back them.
Okay, so I just say, Arthaniel, Esteldor. Yeah,
Can we hear him?
Can I have some awareness checks, please?
Yes, there you go. Here, I'd like to give you guys some hope. What's the range of my hope, Paul?
It's the inverse of pi r squared. Arthaniel.
I don't really have good news. I have good awareness, but I have 4 total. And the Eye of Sauron.
Oh.
It's not a laughing matter. Sorry, no.
I've passed mine, boy. I passed mine. I got 14. I needed 13.
Okay, you can hear Gert shouting, "Arthaniel! Esteldor!"
Is that good? Is that good? Where's he gone?
It's quite hard to tell the direction in the fog.
I'll show it back. I'll show it back to him into the fog.
What kind of wood would be good for my shield, do we think?
Gert!
Oh,
sorry, Thomas. Gert, where are you? Gert? Shout again so we can hear you.
There's just
Which
no
direction are
scenario.
you?
With my awareness roll, there's no scenario where I hear him shouting back, right?
Okay. Talon, do you want to make an
so-
awareness roll?
I'll give it a whirl. What's he got? He's got 2 dots.
Hey.
Oh,
No.
while Esteldor is start calling for Gert, Gudrun grows worried because she look around. I don't see him. So, and where is he? And he asked. She asked to Esteldor and Arthaniel.
I think it's that way. I'll just point in the direction I think I heard this voice come from.
I can't see anything that way, and because Nithal Beaker or all around, it's a mess. We really had to tread this path. There is no better way to go to this fall place where the links lives.
Nonna is pulling you slightly. She's pulling on her reins in almost the opposite direction Esteldor was indicating.
How far away from Tolman am I? Like,
You're about a couple of feet.
I love that that I did not notice him. That's perfect.
There's moisture just dripping down his face, kind of like sticking through.
I say,
It's kind of-
so Bert is nearby, right? So I think I'll suggest a maneuver where the Hobbit is pulled out by Bert, because Bert could probably easily move a Hobbit.
Yeah, okay.
So-
Gert looks down at you. Takes a munch at the grass next to you. Nuzzles you a little bit, pushes you a bit deeper.
Oh, but now's not the time. Sir, would you grab the reins of my pony, and I will instruct him to move backwards. Perhaps it will get you out of this, and then maybe get me out of this.
So you're clinging on, and Bert just looks at you and kind of pulls the reins slightly, and then takes another munch of marsh grass.
Bert, back up. Back up.
I try and kind of get a perch on something using my spear, make a kind of lurch for the pony.
Yeah, okay, the pony's not entirely happy about this and kind of like just moves back a little bit, puts a hoof into some water and comes back up like that. Then
Bert, you've already eaten today.
raises its tail.
Ah, the blasted beast. I don't know how you raise your ponies in Bree, but we don't do it like that in the show.
He's supposed to be much more helpful, according to the rules.
He takes a bite at the rules book.
Well, he's a bit off because of the surroundings. This swamp is really upsetting his temperament. But look at me. I need your help. Please back up.
Only reason I'm out here is because blasted Bree ponies bolted from the prancing pony they did.
And he starts to back. As soon as he feels this strain of of Tolman on his reins. He kind of, and you hear this sucking sound as Tolman kind of like then lands beside you. And then Bert really kind of like thinks, starts to pull Tolman. Just this scrape of mud. Tolman lets go of the reins. You can see now the rest of you kind of like from the commotion spewing and the neighing of Bert as you kind of move forward. You can see this child just like this big strain of where it's been dragged along the marsh and just mud down, totally soaked from tip to tail. Little bits of his eyes and his mouth. That's all that you can see. And the rest is just covered in marsh.
Mud's the least of my worries. Blasted beast did his business right there and dragged me through it. I think the bit got in my mouth. Disgusting. Never coming to Bree again.
So you can see these figures coming out of the go. Barnak.
Gert, why are you so short? And that's coming from me.
I'm stuck in the muck. I could use a hand, a real hand, but it's not being very helpful, especially.
So can I go over and try and grab an arm?
Yeah, you can you have to go the long way around. You're not quite sure how Bert managed to get there. It's quite obviously not the right route to be taken.
How did you get...
Thomas kind of like is stood across the water. He's not going to do anything. But yeah, you kind of get down there. You kind of like, you start to feel, oh, yeah, you don't want to be getting too close.
Mm-mm.
And Gudrun,
Anyway,
Sorry,
And-
Gudrun.
and whisper to herself, "Oh my God, I can't take it. Another boy in his company. This is not possible."
Can I look at Thomas and say, Thomas, pass me your spear, please,
He kind of like,
or toss it to me.
What's that spear's name?
currently,
Not at me, to me.
oh, he throws you the piercer of Gudrun's enemies over at you.
Okay.
is there any way I'm aware of this after my calamity?
The whole of Middle Earth is currently aware of this. This is the
Okay.
this is the only thing worth paying attention to. Sauron's eye is firmly focused on the Midwater Marshes. If this is the best that the men of the West have to offer.
No, I was about to say, because I have the one thing I have in my traveling gear is a coil of good rope, and I've been sort of hoping that after my Eye of Sauron roll, I'll be able to help the guys a little bit. So I can just like wake up and, oh yeah, sorry, what's going on? I must have nodded off. Oh, let me
Get stuck. I'll use the spear to steady myself then, rather than using it to try and get hold on to.
Happened
Yes,
to
the
you, Gert? Have you tried to take a bath in this place? I think it's not appropriate.
Just woke
Who's
up
this
better of
small
me.
individual?
It's
Let's
Hobbit of
get
the
everyone
Shire.
out. I think we should get everyone out. So I will work with Esteldor, wrap a rope somehow around me, and then sort of hold like arms and hands and lock it in a way, and throw the rope in to the muck to get the boys and hobbits and dwarves and whoever is in there just out.
Tolman's going to try to help out, but he's probably just going to get himself in the way, really, like a cat. You know, like when you're trying to go upstairs or something, the cat decides it's time to go down the stairs.
Okay, so it takes you a bit longer than you would have desired it to do so. You're not quite sure why Tolman untied the knot, but he thought he was doing the right thing.
That's not a knot. That my dad showed me how to tie a knot. He used to work in a rope factory before he became a messenger. Old Andy Roper's rope factory. I once got kicked out of there because I tried to sneak in. And get some offcuts. That was good rope. This is good rope.
Gert's just getting a little bit further down.
Like,
but eventually you manage to kind of like get him out, and you're both cold and wet, like properly shivering cold now, involuntary muscle spasms, soaked to the very skin. The clagging mud is weighing you down. Bert is quite all right about life. He's found his way around. He's kind of like now heading over there. He and Gudrun's horse seem to be more or less sure-footed.
yeah, I think Gert knows that what happened was that he just kind of relies on Bert to lead him to the proper place, and Bert was just, coming. He saw a patch of grass that he wanted to eat, and that's. But Gert, is like, well, I don't know how that happened. It kind of snuck up on me, and then I must have instinctively known that this Hobbit was here.
Yeah.
Hobbit, you say? Oh, this is a Hobbit. Like that Bilbo, Oh,
Oh yes.
Oh, pleased to meet you, Mr. Hobbit.
Barnak takes a bow.
Name. I don't go about calling myself Mr. Hobbit, but nice to meet you too, I suppose. Not that it's nice here. Quite the opposite of nice, really. But yes, well met. I'll do a proper introduction then. I'm Tolman Bunce of the Messenger Service of the West March. I'm a messenger, proud to be a messenger. Shows off his messenger service pin badge, like my father was before me, and his father before him. Though he was more of a bounder, really, or if not a sheriff.
Wait, so he was a messenger and he worked at the rope factory?
Oh, yeah, he's done a few different things, my dad. My ma always says he had fairy blood as well, like me, and that's why I'm so wild and always wandering off. Never been this far east, mind. Seen one like you on the road to Bree.
Well, we are on the road out of Bree, in fact. And, well, but it's a strange place. Isn't a strange place where to find a hobbit, to meet hobbit? These marshes, with all these strange insects all around, biting, beating.
Well, I don't
Anyway,
even know.
Excuse, pardon my. I'm Gudrun from Dale, and you know what?
Where's that?
I'm bringing a message myself from this distant land to a hobbit, a very well-known hobbit. Do you know Mr. Bilbo? Bilbo Baggins, his name. I think it's quite famous. Oh, well, we cannot
Can't
hear
hear
you.
you.
Bilbo Baggins. Is he a Shire Hobbit or is he a Bree Hobbit now?
Oh well. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure I know it. And I don't think I know the difference. Anyway, someone told me that he live in the Shire with the in front, not just Shire.
Well, I might know him, I might not. I'll have to have a think about that one, but I think first you'll have to tell me a couple of things. First of all, what's Dale? Where's that? Who's this message from? Why is there a dwarf here? And how do we get back to Bree? Because I need a bath.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But we have a business here. We are hunting for a lynx.
I'm gonna pin it to my shield. I'm gonna like have it. I'm gonna get it with this spear. I call this spear Stabber of Gudrun's Nemesis. No, that doesn't work either, does it? Really?
Well, I don't know after what you're talking about, like, but if you can get me back to Bree, where I can have a bath, and I can meet up with my friend who's a dwarf like that one there, and he said he was going to take me back to the Shire on his pony cart, which would be quite nice. I've never really ridden on a dwarf pony cart, and anyway, I gotta take Bilbo's cousin Dudo back to the Shire because he's been blind. Oh, I've let the cat out of the bag there, haven't I?
So do you know it? Do you know him? Okay.
Aye.
But let me, Barnak.
Yes.
The place where we are going to is not far, right? Because when we go there, we can find his links, and then we will go back to Bree. So maybe you can join us for a brief time, because I think it's quite dangerous. This place is very easy to go off road, off the path, and well, and as you did, and he look at you with a disgusted expression in her fair face.
There's something about you, the way you're looking at me right now, reminds me of my mother. Now, I'm warming to the idea a little bit now, but I still have two questions. First of all, what's a lynx? Secondly, where am I? What's this place? Because I was in the Prancing Pony having a little sleep. I did have a couple of tankards last night.
I don't
because
think
I
it's
journeyed all the way from
at all.
I journeyed all the way from the Shire, so I thought I might as well have a few bites to eat. Dudo was sleeping it all off from the other night. So I had a couple of tankers. Then they woke up, Barleyman Bar woke the whole place up, ringing the bell. Said the ponies have escaped. I said, well, I'll help out. I know how to catch a pony. I can catch a pony. Well, you seen me catch his pony, didn't you? But then a few of us came this way, chased them up into these bogs. Next thing I know, I was up to my neck on my own. Good job he come along.
I can show you a picture of a lynx.
It is a good job that I showed up.
Gudrun opened her mouth, and then she closed it with no words.
It's a good point, though. Are we nearly there yet?
Well, the lynx population map around Breeland told me that the lynx can be found somewhere in Midgewater Marshes, which is looking around. I think we're here, so it should be somewhat nearby.
And in fact, Barnak, you do think you're in the region of the King's Chair. You would imagine from the map that you remembered.
If only could we have a gust of wind to, sweep away all this moist fog. I can take it more.
I'll say to Gudrun, this is unfortunately the local weather.
Well,
it rarely changes over here.
Have we got any torches? I don't think we want to set up camp just yet, but we might give the two wet ones at least some source of fire to dry themselves off.
Yeah, you've got some torches.
Please, yes.
You definitely need a bath, Gert. But with water, not with mud.
It's starting to dry a little bit, but it stinks, and it's now starting to kind of like break and get under the clothes, and it's just uncomfortable. And you start to scratch a little bit as the bites from the mosquitoes start to inflame a little as well. Come on, just get going.
Got mud in my boots.
Your breeches
And
everywhere.
britches. Yep.
You continue moving forward. Could I have some explore checks, please, as you start to kind of look around for what you think of being the King's Chair, which has been described as an area of ruins, and one of the ruins in particular is reasonably large, and there's a stone chair abuts on that.
I didn't get what I needed for
Yeah,
explore.
Okay.
I have Sauron.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oops.
It's a fail for me. I've got 11.
a failure as well.
I would like a cup of tea now.
Is it really Gert that sees something out of everyone? Or is that
Yes.
am I
it
the only
is.
success?
You are the only success.
You are
Finally.
getting better at ranging.
Finally.
So, Gert, your mood is somewhat soured by the state of you.
Oh yeah.
Bert prances away every moment he can. He doesn't like the smell of you. The mosquitoes are biting. Your secret stash of weed is soaked. Your not so secret stash of weed soaked. You haven't had a sausage in days.
Barnak.
But there's a glint of light up ahead, and you can see the late afternoon sun breaks through the cloud, and you can see the blueness of the sky. And it comes and illuminates in its beam a small set of 3, maybe 4 silver birches. And a little mound that rises. There's still the fog around, but it's no longer this dense, dreary, depressing sight. There's an aura of beauty as the sun illuminates the gleaming bark skin of the birches ahead. And beyond that you can see the grey granite stone of a ruined wall, the long faces of the kings of old guarding what looks to be a doorway. You feel like your trudge through the marsh may be coming to an end.
Gert kind of comports himself. Kind of. Just imagine the party is kind of behind him for the most part, looking around. Says, "Oi!"
What, did you get stuck again?
Oh, not again. Please, no.
Bert goes,
Yeah.
Can we smell which direction?
Does anyone else see that?
See what? See what?
you can see the scene as I described it. Arthaniel and Esteldor. This is an avenue of birch trees in full bloom. You all start to make your way towards it. But you see Arthaniel and Esteldor. Silver sentinels guarding a path towards the building that sits on a slight rise in the marsh. There's a dull light coming from within. For you two, the branches sway in gentle wind, and the temperature is warm, the residual heat of a summer's evening. About you hear horns, commands, men being mustered for battle. The rest of you see ruins of a stone wall, vines hanging around the rocks, stagnant water, the faces of granite statues that have been hacked at and holes stabbed in their eyes. But for Arthaniel and Esteldor, you walk along the avenue, joined by a young man, perhaps in his late teens, tall and athletic. You are drawn beside him, but you stand a few paces behind. Your steps match his. Without pause, you walk into the great hall of the king's manor beside Amon Sul, the watchtower of Weathertop. The old king is seated in his chair. Glowing embers of the fire illuminate a face etched with tiredness. You know he would not relish this meeting. "You must do this, or it will bring destruction upon our house," the old king says. "Better destruction than shame," says the young man. "I know I'm only young, but I am of the line of the sea kings of old. It should be me by your side, not the Prince of Cardolan. To what benefit would your destruction bring? It is more important that our line, the heirs of Isildur, may rebuild this kingdom. Nay, rebuild Arnor renewed. But how shall I do that if I'm known as a coward?" the young prince retorts. "Who would ride away rather than defend his own lands, fight with his own kin. Arnor shall not rise again. There shall be no more High King of Arnor and Gondor. I believe, Erebor," says the old man. "I believe that one day there will be a return of the king. It may be many generations from here, and therefore we must do what we can to save our people. I say this, that whether I am triumphant at Amon Sul, whether my body is torn asunder by the forces of the enemy, or whether by some miracle I make it to yonder barrows, my spirit shall not rest, nor shall my thirst for vengeance be sated, and such a time as the heir of Isildur sits once more upon a unified throne." Where such a vow said in this place and at this time? The enemy's sorcerers may well turn that against you. I have said what I have said. It is now for sword and spear to determine what will happen. But let not those be our last words. The young man bows his head. "I love you, Arveleg, my king, my father. And I love you, my prince, my son. Arthaniel, Esteldor, guard Erebor with your lives ere the end cometh. Let not my line fall due to lack of courage nor conviction. The parlous state of our kingdom does not diminish your duty to it." And the warmth retreats. And then there is silence. And then there's just the sound of the insects in the marsh. You've wandered into the ruin. There is a chair carved in the old style, a throne before you. The scene that you saw in your mind's eye, gone. A scene of the history of your people, the Dunedain of the north. The slab that the throne rests upon is angled downwards, almost taken wholly by the marsh, much like the kingdom that you swear to protect. But from this vantage point, in this glow from the sun, you can see a little bit off a number of barrows in a rise in the marsh yonder. And then the clouds gather and the greyness of the fog about you. You look at each other, Esteldor and Arthaniel, buoyed by the command of a king many ages ago, but still a king of your people. And you feel renewed a little in your mission. The rest of your group find their way into the ruins, and the night draws in. Esteldor, Arthaniel, you recover a couple of points of hope. For whilst you know that Amansul was ravaged, you also know that the Palantir that was housed there was taken back to Fornost, and that Erebor became a king of note, and that whilst you may not know exactly where the Isildur resides, you know that your forebears did their duty to protect their line. It's hard getting fire going. You're all cold and tired, but your journey has come to an end. You all take 2 points of fatigue, and Arthaniel, you take 4 as the tiredness of the march hits you as well. Okay.
As everyone's setting up camp, I will, reclaim one of the torches either Gert or Toman had, and I'll try to sort of walk not too far away, but just kind of look at the stonework and the craftsmanship and try to figure out what these faraway men built.
Yeah. So, as you're wandering around and looking at the work, and it's reasonable quality, a distinct style. You've not encountered this kind of style really on your travels before. Granite, so it's kind of been weathered by the marsh, and whatever this the remnants, this was a reasonably large sized place, a possible palace of note. But you also find much more recent, and as in yesterday or the day before, markings of where block and tackle have inexpertly been placed, and some excavations have been attempted to be made, albeit not very well, and the marsh is already starting to reclaim it back. But you think that living creatures, probably men, of not a great deal of expertise, have attempted to excavate or otherwise explore this area.
All right. So I have a feeling that it's unlikely to be like thoroughly plundered or whatever. Someone's tried to, but hasn't gotten too far, you mean?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So they kind of attempted to clear the marsh water from what could have been a entrance to a lower story or a lower level, and they've tried to board out what they've emptied, but the marsh water just come underneath, and they've abandoned it as a job badly done.
Okay. So yeah, I return to wherever the campfire is being amassed and I report my findings.
Barnak returns and briefs you that there may be others around.
Someone tried to dig in the ground in here. Barnak.
It seems so. There's fairly recent markings here that indicate that someone's tried to, but not successfully, enter the lower level, would you know what this place was and what could be under there?
Would I pull? I wouldn't I? Or,
So yes,
or do
so
I have to do
it's,
a law roll for it?
well, you experienced at first hand that it was the great hall of the king of the Arthadane, the king of kingdom of Arthadane, as he was then one of the descendants of Arnor, kingdoms of Arnor. So you would imagine that this would be a palace, a palatial structure. So beneath the great hall, there may be animal storage, because then the animals would come in and they would warm there. And it's the right of the lord of the manor to have the animals over winter so that they get all the fertilizer and the manure.
Yeah.
That's genuinely a true historical fact as a bonus. That's exactly what happened.
So yes, I think we should rest for the night and then see what we can explore after we've tried and maybe a little less stinky.
Yes,
That's
most
so
definitely.
Gert.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Gert.
I would
And,
suggest to double our watches. Just to say that
Mhm.
maybe we double the watch, considering.
Yes.
I don't
And,
know why, but this place give me shivers. I really don't like to sleep too close to these hills, mounds, whatever.
I could sleep close to you tonight, Gudrun, if that would make you feel more safe.
I don't think so. By the way.
Oh. Oh.
Thomas, don't push it, Thomas.
just a suggestion. I'll go and get some firewood.
And as he's getting
races out.
As he's getting wood, should we? I think probably at this point the jig is up that we're not hunting a lynx. Should we tell him?
It's still possible that we can encounter one, so let's not ruin this for the lad, you know.
That's true. It's like when you're in high school and you're studying you haven't studied for a test, and then you wait until the last moment, so the test is, we hope that it's cancelled last minute.
Wow, that's a feel right there. That is a definite.
No, it's just that I feel that we might have betrayed the boy's trust a little bit, and maybe be the bigger.
Maybe we just let him find out on his own as part of his journey to the manhood, you know.
He's tried a bit of the journey to the manhood and it bit his hand off. So, you know.
All right. Well, let's.
Afterward.
Okay.
That's a good suggestion, Bob.
So
let's let the situation develop naturally.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that we all forgot that there was a hobbit in the middle of this discussion, right? I did. Gert did, for sure.
Tom was just kind of wandering around in awe, just kind of lifting up vines and creepers and looking under them and sort of scuffing crumbling rock, you know, bits are peeling off, wandering off out of sight, possibly, and then remembering that he's all cold and stinky, and then wandering back to come and warm himself.
No. Well, you know what? Song they sing in Dale about Hobbit that tell that Hobbit used to dig their houses into kind of mounds. I don't remember how they call it. Smil, something like that. Maybe they are so expert about mountain digging, aren't you?
Well, I think you're talking about hobbits of the northern stretch of the Shire there. Not something we do in the West March. We certainly don't live in holes in the ground. Not that there's anything wrong with that, if that's your kind of thing. I know Master Bilbo, he lives in a very nice hole in the ground, but I like to live in a house. All of us hobbits of the West March live in houses. I wouldn't know where to begin with a hole in the ground.
Oh, I'm learning a lot of things about hobbits in the last few hours. Thank you for teaching me.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, if you want to know about digging into hillsides, I mean, the hobbits of Bree have been doing that for years.
Oh, great.
But
That's a
if you ask
shame.
me, that
A hobbit of Bree with us, but of the West Marches.
Thomas returns. He's got a bundle of absolutely soaking, sopping wood. I'm sorry, Esteldor. It wasn't great. There's not much out there.
It's fine. I understand.
And Gudrun, I'm sorry. I forgot myself. I apologise if I made you feel uncomfortable. That wasn't what I meant.
Don't worry, it's all good. You are behaving very wonderfully, and I feel very comfortable with you at my side.
Thank you. Gudrun's side. That might be a good name for a spear. And oh, sorry, I said that. Okay. Anybody want to do any other things through the evening?
Tolman's mainly interested in kind of chewing Gert's ear off, really. Just wants to tell him about the Shire in general and how there's nothing like this in the Shire. Apart from maybe in Rushock Bog, there's something a bit like this, but not as grand. It's probably just where the first hobbits settled in the Shire, really. But Bilbo asked me to, or Mr. Baggins, I should say, asked me to go and have a look and to lay out a map of all of the structure of it, and so I did. I explored it all. It's very interesting, but I don't know anything about this kind of thing. Do you? Have you got anything like this where you come from?
Bree? No, but I have traveled far and wide across this land. I have seen things like this before. I've certainly experienced this before, and it was a little more harrowing when I did it by myself, and I also triumphed a little bit more when I was by myself as well. I don't know what it is about traveling companions, but I seem to come out all right if it's just me and Bert. But of course,
Yeah.
this is mostly old hat for me.
Oh
As
yeah,
I'm covered in
me too.
stink, and we're just two shivering by the fire, smelling awful, congratulating ourselves on how great we are. Perfect.
I prefer my own company. It has to be said. I like to wander in the Shire on my own. I sleep under the stars. I find that some people just they take themselves to be too fancy, you know, like these two with the hoods and the capes. What's that all about? What is that?
Oh, the Rangers, yes,
Rangers?
well, they are disliked across the land, and so the hood is a protective measure for them, I think. I mean, no one recognizes that they're Rangers if they're wearing green hoods.
Well, I would. I'd say, look, there's a ranger wearing a green hood. Obvious, eh?
I think is because of this food that the people of Bree dislike them. Because they are so hidden, always. So the people of Bree are afraid of them.
Yes.
They should change their look, their fashion.
Oh,
Oh, maybe if they helped people of Bree and the Shire out every so often, did something good for us, then maybe we wouldn't be so disliked. Because I mean,
almost.
they've been good to me.
Well said.
I imagine me and Alessandro aren't even there. What are you saying?
I don't think anybody minds whether you're there or not. Actually, it's up to you to decide whether you want to be there.
Solomon certainly doesn't care.
The vision was quite strong, I think, and I want to reflect it.
Yeah.
I can hear something in the background, but I don't feel it tonight that I want to.
Probably sitting in the probably off in the corners, keeping watch, I suppose.
Yes, yeah, pretty much just saving everybody's ass. But
Yeah.
See, because
Meanwhile,
they'd be quite helpful if they were saving everybody's ass, wouldn't they? But they're just sat in the corner watching now. Sorry,
But they did
sorry.
teach
Gudrun.
you to properly gather firewood.
That's true.
Sharpening my sword.
Gudrun, do
in
you?
the meanwhile,
Oh, go on.
walk towards the statues of the faces of the kings in the ruins, and she touches the stone, touches the stone and stroke them, and then turns toward the company and said, "Well, Barnak, art is something that dwarves made, or something, or someone other. It's quite fair. They are quite beautiful, well carved."
Well, I say these ones. No, I believe these ones were made by these men of the north, or at least commissioned good masters here. But I agree, this is truly exquisite, beautiful. Rivals the craftsmanship of the dwarves itself, and I just go. But but yes, this is quite a kingly hall that we've ventured into.
Yes, it's a shame that they are here among a marsh, in the middle of a marsh, in ruins.
Yes, did they build it in the middle of the marsh, or did it become a marsh after the fact? In which case, well,
Gudrun, make a law roll.
A low roll. It's quite difficult.
You could
In a
use.
way.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, you don't know the answer to the question, but as you're.
Oh.
as-
Is I as an eye with a 2. So 2 at all. I have no idea.
Yeah, you have
Thank
genuinely no idea. But as you're peeling away and kind of like paying more attention and looking at the craftsmanship, you can see that there seem to be names carved beneath the statues. There's Elendil, Isildur, Valandil, Eldakar, Arantar, Tarsil, Tarondor, Valundur, Elendor, all claimed as kings of Arnor.
I pronounce it these names aloud and said, "Well, I don't know what these words are meaning, what the meaning of this word, but it sounds good, like Elvish somehow. maybe these kings of old were elvish, were elves.
Maybe. But what's more, do you know? So that there were kings here, right? So we were in the king's chair in this land, I mean. And now there's no kings anymore.
That's
Why you had what?
there was a real king was sitting here. Do you mean? I thought it
Well,
was.
I mean more like in these lands in general. Like saw the largest power structure that we have is the Reeve, who we've met back in town, seems to be the most sort of important individual, which, you know, no disrespect to the Reeve, but this pales a little bit in comparison to what we're seeing here. What happened?
I'll probably wander over if you talk about the names and stuff. I'll be like, yeah, this place was beautiful once. These are the kings of Arnor and Gondor, Gudrun.
Oh, right. You know about them. Do you know?
Yes. They did used to sit here. The king did.
Right. And so maybe this evening, while after the meal, our poor meal, by the way, could you tell me about them? Maybe do you know some songs of the old time?
Yes, I can certainly try and remember that. Yes.
Oh, great.
You eat in anticipation. Esteldor hopes that everybody forgets the commitment he just made.
Internal panic, yeah.
You've got a couple of dots of lore, and coming from the line that you come from, you'll know at least the general shape of the history of the North, which is largely the fall of Numenor. The faithful of Numenor come to these lands. They found Arnor and Gondor. There's Tharbad is kind of like the boundary of the kingdoms. It's like was almost a shared kind of protectorate, for want of a better phrase. Probably you won't know so much about the kin strife that led to the fall of Arnor, but the kingdom of Arnor separated, or the kingdom of Arnor separated into three kingdoms essentially: Arthadane, which is the kingdom from which you guys come from; Rudor, which is further to the east; and then Cardolan, which is a little bit to the west, southwest. And the king that you had the vision of, Arvaleg, fought the armies of the Witch King, which raised Amonsul. And Amonsul was a tower where the Palantir was. There were 4 Palantirs in the north, 3 of which were within the kingdom of Arthadane, and the 4th was like a shared resource. And there was lots of aggro between all of the kingdoms because of the imbalance of power, and Weathertop was where all those kingdoms met, essentially. And Arafor, as per the intro, saved a lot of the Dunedain by protecting Fornost. So you'll know all of that. That'll all be kind of like record and known to you. And you'll know that the kings of Arnor and Gondor became the kings of Arthadane and Gondor. The kings of Gondor died and the steward sits there now, but that line still remains. They became chieftains, and the line started to be protected by secrecy. So whilst you know that the line is maintained and broken, you do not know exactly where the line remains. And then you can riff off that to whatever extent you want to.
So I've got a quick question about that vision, actually, what we had. Are we too young to have been there then?
Oh gosh, yeah, that's thousands of years ago. It's like 2,000 years ago.
When the king said our names, I thought, huh? Confused me.
Yeah. No, that's generations prior. But visions are strange things. How the past interacts with the present in a mystical way. And you know as a fact, whether you knew this before you arrived here or not, the marsh came after. This was a palace. When the king of Arnor and the kings of Arthadane travelled to visit and to use the Palantir to see, they came and stayed here. Whilst the ways of the Palantir may have been secret, this was a household that they established. It's been here for 2,500 years at least. So you finish your food, and everybody kind of expectantly turns to Esteldor.
Okay. Gudrun wanted me to recount a poem or something.
Please.
Okay.
Gert grabs a tomato.
Esteldor.
If you like it, while you sing, I can accompany with my harp.
Okay. So I'm just in the background. I'm actually trying to look for a proper poem, but I'm fine in there.
So Tolman is watching this from the fireside as he's warming his hands and trying to get dry, and he can see Esteldor's kind of struggling to remember the words, and he starts singing softly, just almost in the background, really, a quite somber song about the kind of first hobbits who established the Shire and driving the wolves east towards Wood End. And then it's kind of loosely about the Black Wolf of Wood End. But there's a few names of like Hobbit sort of thanes, I guess, peppered throughout the story of the song. And he just sort of sings that quietly as Esteldor's kind of finding his focus.
Yeah, and you don't have to give us a poem. So I played a Rohan minstrel in Joe's game, and I have no ability to do poems or sing. So I would just narrate what the song was about.
Okay.
So rather than having to do a poem or a song, do exactly as Joe has just done there, and you say, "Oh, this is the story that you tell," and everybody has then imagined the music and the stuff around it.
Okay. He gets himself comfortable. He's a bit nervous because he doesn't really talk. Like my colleague, I don't really get much interaction with people. He looking around the room. He looks around the this palace and tries to imagine what it would have looked like, and then a bit of the vision comes back to him, and he describes the beauty of what it used to be with the white trees lining the lane, and he describes the blossom in the air, blowing on a fair wind. He talk about being like a sort of military sort of person. He'd probably go into the grand armies of Arnor and the shining spears that would line the path when the kings would visit. And then I think it starts to get a little bit darker towards the end of his story, where he'd explain about darkness from the kingdom of Angmar. He would mention Angmar spreading over the land. He looked towards the Master Hobbit, and hearing what you've said as well, he would mention he heard tell of brave hobbit archers who used to serve the old King of Arnor. They fought. They sent a contingent from the Shire to aid us in the fight. I think he'd finish it off with something about all we are left are guardians of our people and in honor of and also in honor of the service of the hobbits, we continue to guard the Shire. I think he'd end with that.
That is
In
amazing.
a more like poetic way.
So Esteldor's poetry is perhaps powerful because of its simplicity. It lacks the niceties that you might find from a poet laureate, but speaks with authentic passion and awe. Thomas is wide-eyed as you talk of the Hobbit archers. He gasps as you talk of the guardianship of the remnants of the kingdom in the shape of the Shire and of Bree. Gudrun's harp work is complementary throughout, much more restrained than when she sang in the Prancing Pony. Everybody just settles slightly and looks around, picturing those blinding spears, picturing those bows of might facing off against the shadow out of Angmar. And you feel a little bit safer and more comfortable knowing that Esteldor and Arthaniel watch over you. Is that what the Rangers do? Oh, Thomas says.
Protectors.
Yeah.
My protector and defender.
Wow, maybe I should become a ranger. Sounds like a lot of hard work, though.
It is.
And I think everybody can regain a point of hope through recounting of the story. And the beautiful melodies.
I'm already at max, so I'm okay for that.
Good stuff. Okay. Shall we take 10-minute break?
Okay.
So shall we get back at 6:30?